Today I messed up by underestimating the electric scooter. So, this happened a couple of days ago, and I'm still nursing the consequences of my overconfident decisions. I decided to hop on the electric scooter trend and bought myself a sleek, shiny model that promised to be the epitome of urban mobility. Little did I know, it would soon become the source of my own personal disaster. Excited to test out my new wheels, I cruised down the sidewalk, feeling the wind in my hair and thinking I was the epitome of cool. Reality hit me like a ton of bricks when I underestimated the scooter's power and found myself careening out of control. In a blink, I collided with the unforgiving side of the concrete, resulting in a cacophony of pain echoing through my body. To add insult to literal injury, my hands and knees bore the brunt of the impact, leaving them scraped and battered. My lip? It took a beating too. As I lay there in agony, trying to comprehend what just happened, I couldn't help but notice the indifferent glances of passers-by. 2 or 3 people strolled right past me, eyes averted, as if I were invisible. Despite the searing pain in my broken hand, no one offered a helping hand. It was like I was part of an invisible cast myself. In disbelief, I mustered what strength I had left and struggled to my feet, nursing my wounded pride and limbs. Fueled by determination, I somehow managed to get myself to the hospital. Little did I know, the real challenge was yet to come. A seemingly endless 5-hour wait tested my patience and resilience. Finally, a healthcare professional examined my battered self, confirming a broken hand that would now be adorned with a cast. As I sit here, typing this with one functional hand and a humbled spirit, I can't help but reflect on the mess-up moment. It wasn't just about a lack of scooter skills, it was about overconfidence, misplaced trust in my abilities, and the harsh reality that sometimes, people just won't lend a helping hand when you need it the most. Lesson learned: humility is the best accessory, and electric scooters should come with a mandatory dose of caution. Today I messed up by making out while watching MasterChef Australia. Me, M26, and my fiancé, F26, is renting out a room for the night. We checked in and started watching the TV. We were watching MasterChef Australia and it was the episode where the contestants are visiting a truffle farm for the challenge. We started making out since the mood was just right. It was quite hot and heavy and I was sure I'd be getting lucky tonight. While we were making out, the TV was still on and one of the contestants started talking and she said, "Every day I'm truffling." It was so absurd I started to laugh while we were still making out. I basically gave my fiancé an accidental CPR and we started laughing, and the mood was basically gone. Screw you, truffle. Today I messed up by running while recovering from COVID. For context, I am 23F, casual runner who is training for a half marathon. Caught COVID last week right after Thanksgiving. Had all the symptoms: hacking up a lung, sneezing and runny nose, fatigue, some GI issues. Yesterday was the first time I tested negative and I had been feeling relatively normal for about 2 days, so I decided to try to go on a run. 2 miles later and I had to stop because I felt like an elephant was sitting on my lungs the entire time. It was just awful. This morning I woke up and my symptoms had pretty much returned. Hacking up a lung, achy all over. Did some digging online and found that doctors strictly recommend no exercise for at least 2 weeks after having COVID due to the possibility of worsening symptoms, long COVID, and secondary infection. Now I'm feeling almost as shitty as I had been day 1 of COVID, all because I am stubborn and thought I could go on a run. Today I messed up by unknowingly sharing my embarrassing hobby to everyone I know. I read and handbind fan fiction and have done so for a few years. I created a separate, or so I thought, Instagram page solely for my books and to interact with that community. Fan fiction gets a lot of stigma. When I share my binds with people in my real life, I typically say the stories are from independent publishers, and leave out the fan fiction aspect. Outside of that account, I am a pretty private person. I don't share many things on social media, and I typically only post a single picture once a year. Yesterday, I got a notification that my mom liked a picture of a book I had just posted, which didn't make any sense as she doesn't know about binding account. After some panic clicking, I realized that all of my posts had been cross-posting to a FB page that I haven't had access to in over 5 years. Of those who reacted to my posts include my aunt-in-law, an old boss, and the head of the department at the university I attended. Unfortunately, after hours of trying to log back in to delete everything, it looks like my old Facebook account was stolen, the email, phone number, and password changed and no way to remove the posts. Today I messed up by teaching my 3rd grade students about succubus plants. Yesterday we were discussing plants and at the end of the lesson, several students seemed pretty excited to share their knowledge. One student mentioned the carnivorous plant, another wanted to talk about the wolfsbane plant and how it was used back in the day, and another student wanted to talk about a plant that she couldn't remember the name of, and that her mom has them all over the house. Before I continue, I need to say that I'm bilingual and that English is my second language, and sometimes I struggle to find the right word to things. On top of that, I'm pregnant and dealing with brain fog, which makes things worse. I asked the student to describe the plant, and she said that they are small and don't need to be watered that often. I knew right away what plant she must have been talking about, but I needed a few seconds to find the name in my head. The name came to my mind, or so I thought, and with confidence I said, "I think you're talking about the succubus plant." She hesitated for a second and said, "I guess so," and I proceeded to tell the class a few facts about it, and a while later we moved on to something else. It wasn't until the end of the day, after the students were dismissed, that I began to think about the good moments that we had in the day, and our conversation about plants came to mind. That's when it clicked that what I meant to say was succulent and not succubus. Succubus is a sex demon, and I've been so afraid that they went home and told their parents about this succubus plant that we learned about in class. I told the principal about it in case we get any angry parents and apologized in advance. I'm so embarrassed and cannot stop feeling bad about this. I'm hoping that they do not remember the word